My name is Coach Shaune Holiday. I'm at Tupelo Christian Prep. This is my first year being the head baseball coach. I've been the head football coach here now for I think 10 years. So I've been here since I think 2011. Like I say, it's truly been a blessing being at TCPS. Great school, great parental support, great administration support. Just a great school to be at. We have great kids here. Man, really enjoying my time here. Well, this year's season started out a little different for us, I'll be honest with you. We graduated 6 seniors last year, and all 6 of those guys played a lot. So we had to find replacements for those guys. At the beginning of the year, I'll be honest with you, we had to do a lot of teaching. We had a lot of guys that had played a lot of baseball, but they hadn't necessarily played a lot of baseball, if that makes sense. So we had to go into teaching a lot of fundamentals and teaching the way we do things at TCPS baseball. And now when you start to get in the playoffs, all that stuff starts to come together. So now it's becoming really fun to watch what you've taught go into work on whether it's a Tuesday or Friday or Saturday, and to see these young kids grow up. Really been a good season. My style of coaching, I'm old school. I'm a small ball type of guy. I like to bunt, I like to run. Defense wins championships. Doesn't matter how many runs you score. If that other team scores one more than you do, you still lose. So I'm big on defense. And like I say, I'm a small ball guy. You know, with the way the bats and stuff change nowadays and all of that stuff, bunting and running never takes days off. So if you can do those 2 things, I feel like you can be successful, and that's what we try to do. If that's not working, then we go to our running game. You know, we try to make, once we get people on, we try to make things happen through our running game. I'm a firm believer in speed doesn't take days off. So if we can get on base and we can put the other team in a difficult situation through our running game, then we might make them make a mistake to help us score runs, and then we get the momentum back, and that kind of changes the whole game. So, you know, like I say, bunting, running, and defense, if we do those 3 things successfully, I feel like we'll be okay. You all right? Good, plus. Yes, sir, good jump. Good jump, get down, you all right? Right there on the back, good, attaboy, good read. Momentum is the key. In high school sports nowadays, momentum is the key. Whether it's football, basketball, or baseball, no matter what you're doing, you want your kids to stay on an even keel, but if you can take the momentum from the other team and bring that into your corner, then you're in good shape. Because nowadays, the mental aspect of the game has changed a lot from when you and I played, you know, and trying to keep these kids mentally focused the whole game and keep them up or get them to come up is the tough part a lot of times. So we try to stay even keel, but at the same time, we try to keep a high level of intensity. There. 4! Right. That intensity starts in practice. So we try to have high pace, fast, intense practices. We try to put as much pressure on our kids in practice so that when they do get in the game, we don't have those big momentum swings because they've already been through that pressure in practice. You know, we take practice is very important here at TCPS baseball because, like I say, practice duplicates the game. So the more I can put on you in practice, the easier the game is. And it takes some of the pressure off of the kids when they get in the game. I tell them all the time, I want you to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And if I can make them comfortable being uncomfortable, then we're going to be okay. Whether you're a pitcher or a hitter or whatever, if you've been in that situation already, it makes it a lot easier when you're actually in that situation. My philosophy is, you know, don't let the moment be too big for you. No matter what the situation is, visualize yourself being successful in that moment. I try to tell my guys, when you're in that on-deck circle, go ahead then and try to get your timing down. Visualize yourself getting a hit while you're on deck. Because if you're in the on-deck circle, you can get 3 more at-bats while you're in that on-deck circle. Or if you're at shortstop, when you go out there in between innings, don't just lob the ball across the infield. Act like you're making a throw in the game. That way, when you have to make that backhand and make that throw, you've already done it. So you're comfortable being uncomfortable. So that's kind of my philosophy toward the game. I'm big on the mental piece. I think now in today's society, we struggle a lot with the mental aspect of the game. And I go back to, once again, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. If you can visualize yourself doing something, then you know that you can do it. And the biggest part nowadays with kids is getting them to believe in themselves all the time. And I feel like it's my job as a coach to get my guys to mentally and physically be ready all the time. That's mentally and physically. And that's why we push them so hard and we challenge them with the games that we play. If you look at our schedule, you'll think, wow, they're playing South Panola, you're playing D'Iberville, you're playing big teams, Pontotoc, Nettleton, all of these teams. Did we win all them games? No, we didn't. But through those games, we learn a lot about ourselves. We learn it's okay to fail sometimes. Failure makes you better if you use it to push you to be better. And that's what we do. We take our failures and try to turn them into successes. And that helps us become a better baseball program.
It's a new day at MaxxSouth. We are excited to share some great news. In our continued effort to support Mississippi businesses, MaxxSouth is now offering local advertising support. Through high-quality programming, we combine traditional television and premium digital advertising, allowing your multimedia campaign to reach your targeted audience at any time on any device. Call MaxxSouth Media Sales today at 662-701-8628.
Our motivation here with TCPS Baseball is being a great program. And I talk to them all the time about their legacy. What kind of legacy will you leave? How will you be remembered when you leave this program? Will it be better because you were a part of it, or will it be worse? And that's kind of the motivation that I use is they're little kids watching you play this game every Friday or Saturday that you play. What kind of impact will you leave on that little kid that watched you play? And hopefully it'll be a positive influence, and then that kid will want to be a part of our program. So I try to make them internally motivate as well as what we do to keep them motivated. Got to throw strikes. Come on now. Hey, Colin, one pitch, one spot. One pitch, one spot. Let's go. We do things outside of baseball together as a team to help us grow together and to get closer. But by doing all of that, it helps the program grow. And it helps the legacy of our seniors and our juniors and sophomores in ways that they'll be remembered because they'll teach the younger kids how we do it, and then they'll continue to take it to another level, and the program will keep growing. Not bad. Character's the key. I mean, you can be a great athlete, but have a horrible attitude. Nobody wants to be around you. I talk to my guys all the time about being a good teammate. You know, they don't care if you're the best player on the field, but if you're a me guy and not a we guy, who wants to be around you? Nobody. You know, being a good teammate doesn't cost anything to be a good teammate. Everybody wants to praise, but at the same time, you have to give the praise to get the praise. You know, sometimes your teammates need to be picked up, and good teammates, no matter how good of a player you are or how much you play, you're going to pick up your teammates. So that is another big part of what we talk about, the integrity, playing the game the right way, being a good teammate, being somebody that my son would want to look up to, or your son would want to look up to. Goes back to your legacy. What kind of legacy will you leave? When you leave here, how will people remember you? Will you be known as a good teammate, or will you be known as that guy that nobody wanted to be around? I hope that all of my guys will be remembered as good teammates and people that people love to play with and wanted to cheer for. Good teams bounce back from adversity. There's nothing wrong with adversity during the game. It builds character. It shows you who you are. It shows what kind of team are we. So during those tough moments, that's when I look at my guys to see what type of team do we have. Are we going to give up, or are we going to fight? You'll hear me say all the time, we got to fight. We got to fight. You can't give up. You know, that's just like in life. If I give up in life, then my kids don't eat. So baseball mimics life. If we give up during that third inning when things aren't going our way, then we're going to get beat in 4 innings. But if we keep fighting, win, lose, or draw, then we give ourselves a chance at the end of the game to win that game. And that's all you want is a chance. So, you know, I try to talk to them about internal motivation as well as external motivation. But that internal motivation, you got to hate losing more than you love winning. Be a competitor every game. Every time that you walk on that field, It doesn't cost a dime to compete. It doesn't cost a dime to give extra effort. So if we can do that, then we're going to be okay. Hey, Tuck! Hey guys, give me 2 guys to go over there and move that stuff off the field. Those bags and those drags. Thank you. Yes, here we go. This summer, for example, we're not going to play per se team baseball, but what we're going to do, we're going to practice. We're going to practice a day or 2 a week. We'll combine weightlifting with the football team as well as the baseball team. We'll all come together and lift together, because I don't believe in if there's a baseball workout or a football workout. We're just going to work out. Like I said, I'm old school. So we're going to get in here, we're going to bench, we're going to squat, and it's mandatory. You don't have an option. If you want to play baseball or football at TCPS, you have to get in this weight room and you have to get better. Games are won and lost in here, in the weight room. And this is where you can get a competitive edge if you come in here and you're willing to work. You can change your body and become a better player by getting in the weight room and putting in extra effort to get better. So it's not an option. If you want to play here, you're going to work. We're going to get in this weight room and we're going to do things to work. And I would love for 100% of them to play summer baseball. I know that's not possible for some. I get that, you know. But there are things that you can still do. You can still come hit. You can still get out and throw. You can still work out. So yes, our expectation here, how do I say this? You can't be great living an average life. So I expect my guys to go over and above and do the things that it takes to be great. My team's best attributes would probably be their never quit attitude. No matter what the score is, no matter what situation's going in the game, they always feel like they can win. Or they always feel like they have a shot to make something happen in that game. And I think that comes from the competitive schedule that we play. It comes from the way we push them in practice. And it just comes from, you know, we sit down and we have talks about what can we do as a coach or as a player to help our team get better. So everybody understands their role on the team. So when we get in that game, you know, I have leaders that know it's time for me to step up. So I think our best attribute would be our never give up attitude. And a lot of that too comes from our belief. You know, when you have a belief in Christ and you know what God has done for you, you know that as long as I got God on my side, anything is possible. So my kids know that no matter what they're going through, anything is possible. So they never give up and they always keep fighting. This year our biggest challenge has been, I would have to say, maturity. Just because we lost so many seniors last year and we have a lot of young guys this year that have had to step up and play. We've had to do a lot of teaching this year. So that has been a challenge. And then getting those kids to implement what we're trying to teach into the game. Now, once it clicks, they get it. But if you've never had to do a bunt and run, you don't understand why am I doing that? You have to have an approach, or if you're a pitcher, you have to have an approach to how you want to pitch each different batter. So it's been a lot of teaching this year, and that's been the challenging part this year. But it's also been the fun part, because you see when you start getting later in the season, you see kids starting to get it, and they start to realize, oh, that's why I throw a curveball on that pitch, or that's why I throw an outside fastball there, or that's why I hit that outside pitch deep in the count. So yeah, the teaching part has been a challenge early in the year, but now starting to see kids realize what they can do and be successful at it is really, really fun. Yeah. Hey, you had it if he hadn't came here. Oh, I've always been blessed from the time I took the football job to the time I took the baseball job to have great assistant coaches. I go back to, I'm an old school guy, so I believe in having old school coaches. We have one coach on our football staff, Coach Robbins. He's almost been coaching for 40 years. What am I going to tell that man about football? I let him do what he does. You know, Coach Bourne, my defensive coordinator, he's been coaching for over 20-something years in football. My assistant baseball coach, Coach Long, he's been coaching for over 35 years. You let those guys do you don't try to reinvent the wheel. You copy it, and you let those guys do what they do, and you trust them because they have the experience and they want the same thing you do. So you allow them, you don't try to micromanage them, you let them coach, and it all flows together. I'm a big manager. We won 2 state championships in the past 5 years. So TCPS baseball is, like I said, our expectation every year is to go play for a state championship. And the kids that come to play in this program, they understand that. You know, we have a high expectation. We have a high level of competitiveness that we want to play at, and we expect them to do that. If you can't do that, then this might not be the program for you. But most kids that come here, they accept that challenge. They want that challenge. We have guys that go on to play in college every year. We've had 2 guys to sign this year. We've got 2 guys right now that currently play at Northeast Community College that both start. We've had successful program, and it started back with Coach Lowry when he was here. He instilled in the kids then, and in that we wanted to have a great program, and it has grown from that point to now. Okay, our biggest rival last year in baseball was Biggersville. Biggersville had a real good team. Coach Rousey, he's done a great job up there, and not only are we a rival in football, but baseball, but we're also competitive in football. We played them last year in the playoffs in football and baseball. So that kind of helped that rivalry grow. It was a 3-game series. So we had to go 3 games with them, but we wound up getting them in the end. So yeah, Biggersville, they're definitely one of our top competitors. And it's always fun to play them. And hopefully if we win this week and they win, we'll meet in the 3rd round of the playoffs again this year. And the thing I love about when we play them is when the game is over, we're going to shake hands and we're going to pray together. And the kids get along, the coaches get along. Just a great atmosphere, great competitors. That's what you want. You want the kids to go out and compete, and the best team wins at the end. Sometimes that's been us, sometimes it's been them. But always look forward to playing those guys. My ultimate goal for my players and my team is that we take one step forward and we get better as a unit, whether that's growing together as a brotherhood, whether that's one kid improving more than he did before the season started. As long as I can see kids improving, then that means we're doing our job. You know, and like I said, that doesn't mean you'll win every game. But what it does mean is your program is constantly getting better to try to reach the ultimate goal of a state championship, because the kids are buying into what you're teaching. So yeah, the ultimate goal is to win a state championship, but even bigger than that, I just want to see my kids get better every year.
It's a new day at MaxxSouth. We are excited to share some great news. In our continued effort to support Mississippi businesses, MaxxSouth is now offering local advertising support. Through high-quality programming, we combine traditional television and premium digital advertising, allowing your multimedia campaign to reach your targeted audience at any time on any device. Call MaxxSouth Media Sales today at 662-701-8628.
On game day, I'm a stickler for detail. I like to have my times down. I like for everything to be organized. I like to know when our pregame meal is going to be. I like to know when we're taking batting practice. You know, I like for minute to minute, that structure on game day. What time am I getting my hair cut? What time are we doing this? What time are we doing that? We try to have everything down to the minute, so that once again, it goes back to the kids have that structure and they know where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there, and it just gives them some normalcy. It just keeps everything normal, and it doesn't make it bigger than what it is. No matter who we're playing, we try to keep everything normal on game day, so it's just another day, and you can go out and do what you do when you get on that field, but keep everything calm and the same. But yeah, game day, there's nothing like game day. In my mind, to be a good coach, number one, you have to be willing to listen. Because if you're willing to listen to your players, sometimes they'll tell you what they need. We don't always know what they need. I'll allow my players to talk to me, to have an open relationship with them. I feel like as a coach, I have to have an individual relationship with each one of my guys, because everybody goes through different situations. Nobody's home is the same. Nobody reacts to, one kid might react to hollering, where another kid might react to a soft, subtle conversation. So I think as a good coach, it's all about relationships. And that's the piece that the kids want nowadays, is that relationship piece. So I try to make sure that I develop relationships with every one of my players individually, so that I know them when they come through that door. If that kid is sick, I know that he's sick. Or if something's going on at home, I know that something isn't right, that he might need to talk. So I think being a great coach is not necessarily always knowing the X's and the O's, but knowing your Jimmys and your Joes, if that makes sense. Some of the takeaways is, I want them to know that I care about them. I want them to know that we as a coaching staff did everything that we can do to help them get better. I want them to always know that we're there for them, no matter what they're going through in life, even when they graduate, that we're going to be here for them. We're only a phone call away. I want them to know that they left a great legacy here for younger kids to come back and be a part of TCPS baseball. I want them to know this baseball program is bigger than me and it's bigger than them. But at the same time, I want them to know that they helped build it into what it is. I want them to be proud of it, so that when they have kids, they want to send their kids here to be a part of what their dad helped build. So if we can get that, then this program will continue to grow, and it'll continue to be strong, and it'll continue to be one of the best programs in the state.